Hello, in this video I'm going to showcase some Master Premier teams. Yesterday I showed some Great League teams from the graph that I made. Now I have a couple Master Premier teams that I have here from Kelsey and NCK that I'm going to try. I want to try Blazingly Blaze team as well, but I don't have the TMs to get Outrage on Snorlax because that's so many attacks. The first team that we have is from Kelsey. She's running Annihilate, pretty meta. With Ice Punch though for Dragon type coverage, just Dragonite. Golisopod is more off meta. You don't see this too often in Core Breaks, Metagross, and Annihilate. But it's very underwhelming into Pokemon like Gyarados and Dragonite, just because you don't have the same type of attack bonus in Shadow Claw and Aerial Ace, and Aerial Ace is just extremely underwhelming. You don't really need X-Scissor for anything either, because there aren't really any Dark types and Psychic types, or Grass types. So for that reason, Aerial Ace makes sense, but it's very underwhelming. I think it would make Golisopod a great pick if it has an Ice type attack. And then Primarina is the fairy of choice here, just better coverage in also defeating Gyarados and other water-type Pokemon. A little bit better. I believe I have my best buddy on either Primarina or Golisopod, but I would recommend it on Annihilate if you have it, just so you can win the Charge Attack Purity in the mirror, which would make it a little bit more comfortable. The Annihilate mirror. I don't really like this mirror. Luckily, I don't have to stay in because I have two Ons in the back. So I'm going to go into Golisopod, bait out the Magnezone. This frees up my Primarina in the back so far. But if it's double steal, it's kind of for nothing. Let's see. I'm going to go for the first Liquidation. This is not a great matchup for Golisopod. And even if I get a defense drop, that's great. But if there were to Wild Charge here, this doesn't make it exactly better. So let's see. I'm going to let it go. Hope for a Mirror Shot bait, but they didn't. They also only did four Volt Switches. So I think they go down within 4 counters, and that means I can get a clean farm down. And the fact that I can get a clean farm down means that I'm better into their Annihilate. If they come in with something else, my Primarina will be aligned to their Annihilate. So I'm in a pretty good spot at this point. I have a slight energy advantage. I believe about 3 counters or so. That's pretty nice. I don't have Night Slash, which is a better bait attack here because it's cheaper. It costs 1 counter less. Let's see. They do shield the Ice Punch here. Very fortunate. It's always a scary bait, especially in Master League where the attacks just do less. Let's see, they do bait the Night Slash. This makes it scary again. I need one more bait, but I make a foolish mistake here. Because I get the Charge Attack Purity here, which is a coin flip because they're also not best buddied and we're both a hundo. They could let this go now, so I'm not happy about this Charge Attack Purity here. If they let this go, it's awful. But they actually shield that, so that's big. Now I can outpace to that Shadow Ball. They tried to catch on an Ursaluna. This is not exactly the Pokemon you want to swap into Annihilate. Ursaluna, even though it's a Shadow Hundo, really cool, but it has such a trash matchup into Annihilate. Ursaluna is actually a pretty good Pokemon. Like, it has higher stats than like an Origin Polka, which is extremely high. But it's not a great Pokemon because of the tackle and its coverage. Tackle especially just doesn't do a lot of coverage in Master League. Only makes you, it's only pretty fine into like Snorlax, but other than that, it just has to kind of rely on stats. It actually does quite well into like Primarina and Togekiss, but then there's Annihilate. It's just a straight up trash matchup. So yeah, I charm down and win. Game number 2, Annihilate into Haxorus. Again, a great lead. If they run Dragon Tail's a little bit more iffy, but most Haxorus run counter. Haxorus used to be top meta, used to be a little bit off meta because it was difficult to get. And it would core break something like Snorlax Metagross. But now, it's not as meta anymore. It struggles into Annihilate the prime fight at this point. But I don't have an answer to this Pokemon. I don't have an answer to Snorlax at all. Golisopod struggles a lot into Snorlax because of double resisted Shadow Claw. So I'm just going to throw Ice Punches here, I guess. Snorlax, it looks even better than it did before, with Annihilate being the prime fighter. We'll get to that later. I'm going to go for another Ice Punch immediately, because my idea here is to hopefully align my Primarina on the Haxorus. Golisopod doesn't do terrible there either, but I mean, if it's something like a Metagross in the back, I want to keep that alignment. So let's see. If it's Magnezone, it's probably over though. So let's take a look what's coming in here. To go with Haxorus, I'll definitely get to an Ice Punch, unless they throw, but they don't. Going into the Togekiss, I just align my Golisopod here. As long as I get this thing a little bit down in health, I should be able to charm it all the way down. They try to catch again on the Haxorus here. Unable to. Gonna go into my Primarina. Haxorus does learn Earthquake, which would do a lot of damage, and I probably would have shielded if they built up to that. But they go for a Night Slash. Now I farm down, and at this point it's very much over, because I can get to a Disarming Voice. That will take a shield, and then I should be able to get to Liquidation. That should clean up this game for me. They go for the Ancient Power. That does like no damage, even to a Primarina, which has trash stats as well. But that's pretty sufficient attack, so this kind of has to be respected. I'm gonna get 2 more charms in, and this is definitely within liquidation range with a couple Shadow Claw here. Let's see, I don't think this knocks out just yet. Actually, they might shield it, yeah. But it doesn't matter. Like, I'm way faster to get to my attacks. They're very low now. You go for another Ancient Power. Even the boost could not save them here. Golisopod is very fun in neutral matchups, but you'll find in practice, especially on the save switch, it just has so many bad matchups as well. Game number 3, Annihilate into Primarina. I probably should not stay in here, but I do it anyway. They have Waterfall, which makes Annihilate actually pretty fine into this matchup. Shadow Ball does so much damage here. And they actually throw an alignment here. I did not expect that. I should have gone into Golisopod already, though, because it has a way better matchup here than Annihilate does, especially into Waterfall. I'm not exactly sure what to expect with a Waterfall Primarina. It's usually meant to, like, scare off an Excadrill or have a Dragonite swap into an Excadrill to counter to something. And then Bamboozle, there's your Waterfall. I'm not super convinced by Waterfall Primarina, to be honest. I've tried myself, but it's just mediocre in even some of the matchups. It seems quite well. Like, you lose the 0s and the 1s to Hisui and Avalok, for example, which is kind of bad. This Primarina is almost taking out 2 Pokemon, though. Both Annihilate and Golisopod taking a huge dent. They come in Waterfall Gyarados. So this is very fine, but it's gonna come down all the way to the back line. Because if they have something good for Annihilate in the back, they're still going to get tough. This Pokemon has like nothing on Primarina. You see me go straight Liquidation here because I thought that would do a little bit more because Aerial Ace is just so inefficient. But it actually doesn't. Aerial Ace does more. I looked it up afterwards. I was hoping for a defense drop still. Gonna go to Primarina to hard wall this. In the back is a Florges though. This is probably one of the worst Pokemon I could see at this point. It's gonna get even worse. So my opponent needs 3 Disarming Voice here. They're gonna go for a Moonblast, which is their loose con. But what happens when they get their Moonblast? They get the debuff. And this actually will force me to switch out. I cannot stay in this matchup. I will now 100% lose this. So, makes it a little bit tough here. I'm gonna have to sacrifice my Annihilate at this point. All I need to be careful of is them getting to a Moonblast or even Disarming Voice on my Primarina, because that might drop it into like Crunch or Aqua Tail range. I would assume Aqua Tail because... Oh, sorry, Outrage, actually. Aqua Tail and Outrage. I don't think it has Crunch. But my opponent now farms up perfectly. Goes to 100 NG, Disarming Voice plus Moonblast. Very well played. I think I would 100% win that if I didn't get the debuff there. And it's top left out of frustration. Game number 4, Annihilate into Dragonite. Now, this is kind of where I have to experiment. So, I don't like to stay in this matchup. It could be something like a Max in the back. I'm going to throw an Ice Punch. I'm not exactly sure if I should stay in there or not, but I don't win the even shields. They actually... Most Dragonite shield is immediately. It won't knock out immediately, but it will do a lot of damage, of course. Gonna go into Golisopod to just soak up all the damage. But look at this. Golisopod's just not good in this matchup. And Aerial Ace is gonna do like 12% or something. They actually catch it on the Snorlax, which is even worse for me. I definitely expect the Metagross in the back now. This is pretty common composition. Unless they have an Annihilate in their AB8 Fairy, but no one does that in Master Premier because there's so many people running like double Fairy or something. So, yeah, not gonna do that. Gonna go for another Liquidation here. I'm expecting Metagross in the back, so I'm actually gonna take all this damage on Primarina. Defense drop is nice. Gonna get to another attack. I don't, but they throw anyway, so it's nice. Let's see. So I'm gonna take it all on the Primarina. Most Snorlax run Outrage. To fight back into Annihilate if they get debuffed, but this opponent throws a superpower. Body Slam is definitely the way on Primarina, by the way. Still down in the back, it is the Metagross. I didn't win Switch, unfortunately. Now I have a race to win here. I need to get to Ice Punch here and then to a Shadow Ball on that Metagross. I don't think that's exactly possible. I'm going to go for the Ice Punch here, but it's charge attack priority. And that's the worst charge attack priority ever, because if I snuck, I may have been able to get to another Ice Punch, and now I will not be able to. The Dragonite had way too much energy. I think I did make the right call of switching out, but yeah, it was never gonna happen anyway. Like, there's Snorlax on my Golisopod, there Metagross on my Primarina, which is gonna be an impossible match. So I'm gonna charm this down, hope to get to Hydro. But if you have Charm, it takes way too long to get there. I'm definitely in range of a Medium Ash, so I'm getting out of this. So that's a little bit frustrating. First losing to debuff, then to alignment. And again, I lead into a Dragonite, a Purified one, best buddied as well. Maybe it has return, that'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna go for the Ice Punch. They throw an alignment again, which is annoying. It's very annoying because I don't expect that. I want to throw the Ice Punch and switch out. No one really throws an alignment around these 2500s, 2600s. Simply because I could sneak a full counter through and then I could win like the one shields. Gonna catch the next one, Golisopod. But again, I hate swapping Golisopod into it just because it's just so trash into Dragonite. They swap in Gyarados, which is also tough because that's 2 Pokemon weak to Primarina. I'm guessing their next one is a Steel type, but with the energy on Annihilate, maybe I can still do something here. So I'm actually not gonna throw my next attack, which might be silly. I want to get more energy on Primarina, but now they will get two attacks now on Primarina, which will get Primarina pretty low actually. This matchup always is worse than it really looks like, because you double resist Dragon Breath, you resist charge attacks, it's still gonna get you like to 40% or something, which is kind of stupid. Charm going through, Gyarados gonna go down. Look to get to an Aquatil. Look at how low I am already. See what they have in the back. There has to be like a Metagross or something. It's a Feraligatr. I'm gonna go for the Disarming Voice here to get some chip damage. Maybe I can farm up later from that Dragonite, so I want to expend some energy. I swap in for the Annihilate, go for the Ice Punch here as soon as the Dragonite comes back in. And they shield that. Hopefully I can get to another one. They shouldn't have a lot of energy. They don't. Does this knock out? This is double super effective. I never landed one. It doesn't. So that's how little an Ice Punch actually does here. This actually doesn't become much better, because now the Feraligatr gets a full farm down. But you know how I talked about Gliscor being mediocre? You want to win battles? Do not use Feraligatr. This Pokemon has 700 lower stats than Primarina. And Primarina already has low stats for Master League. This has like the lowest out of most Master League Pokemon. So that Hydro Cannon will not KO, and I win the battle by 1 HP. So that's a 3-2 with this team. It would have been a 4-1 very likely if it didn't get that Moonblast debuff. But the nature of Master Premier is those RPS matchups, unfortunately. A lot of Double Dragon, Double Fairy, Double Steel. And sometimes it's just like that. So let's try the next team, see how that goes. The next team that we have is from Obson, Fanatic, and CK. But he's not really believing in Obson for this league, probably because of all the Annihilate. So he is suggesting this. Hisuian Avalok, which has a really good moveset for this league, really high stats, but a pretty trash typing. Double weak to fighting does not help, even against like Dragonite with superpower, Snorlax with superpower, and there's obviously also the Annihilate, kind of rough. Also being weak to water doesn't really help against like Goodra, so it kind of needs those stats to back up its terrible typing. Then we have Goodra with Aquatil Thunder Punch. I'll get to what I think of that moveset later. I find that there's not a lot of coverage in that. If you have the best buddy, I didn't, but if you have it on Goodra, you should put it on Goodra, because then you get a breakpoint into Shadow Snorlax, which allows you to win all the even shields. Well, maybe not against Outrage, but against standard movesets, you do. And then Annihilate, this time with Night Slash, just to provide better Metagross coverage, which both Hisuian Avalok and the Goodra don't do super well in. Game number 1, we see again a Johto starter. I'm gonna go into Goodra immediately because I want to get some energy elsewhere. They swap in their own Goodra. They had Shadow Claw, by the way, which is interesting. I always build up to a Draco and then go for Aquatil. Most Goodra actually run Draco Meteors, so this often gets shielded. Not by this player, but most of them did, I swear. So yeah, if they don't have the Draco Meteor either, I can actually flip this matchup, which I don't really need to, but let's just take a look. I want to get like shields down. Hisuian Avalok is actually very fine into Typhlosion just because it's mediocre stats. And because this is a Draco Meteor, the attack now drops harshly, as you just saw. So I can get a nice farm down here with that Avalok. I'll have all the Rock Slide loaded for that Typhlosion, which takes pretty long to get to its attack. Let's see what this is. Even a super effective Aquatil I can deal with here. But this is Thunder Punch. So let's see what comes in. Is it the Typhlosion? It is a Typhlosion. Usually Fire-type leads are paired with dragons in the back, so it could very well be that. And they actually let that go, which is crazy. That means now I should be able to farm down everything with the team. I'm gonna fake an Ice Punch here, but it is a Night Slash. They will actually no-shield this, which I find crazy. Because, like, what, are you gonna use your shield at some point or not? Their win condition at this point is getting 3 superpowers off. Because a Blast Burn does about 40% on Hisuian Avalok. That's not because Hisuian Avalok is so bulky. That's because Typhlosion has a very low stats in this league. And that's the same for Feraligatr as well. It just really relies on typing. And I must say, though, Typhlosion has that more than Feraligatr does. You have decent play into also, like, Gyarados because you have Thunder Punch. But, like, Dragons, Snorlax, all those neutral matchups are just straight up bad. Dragonite, I tend to no-shield here, actually, because the Dragonite have a fetish with going for Dragon Claw here. It makes no sense. Even in the most, when they have 2 superpower, they will throw 2 Dragon Claw for some reason. Maybe this one didn't have it. Yeah, but I know this does about 40%. I should take this Typhlosion out pretty comfortably here. Blast Burn gonna connect, puts me in the red, and I can just farm down the whole team. That will win me the battle. Good game, trainer. Game number 2, I get, again, another Fire-type lead, but I respect this one more. It has a little bit better stats and also a better typing. This Disarming Voice is super useful for dragons as well. And speaking of things that can deal with dragons, this is the most annoying Pokemon for Goodra. I was really considering Annihilate Stage because of this Pokemon. They also get another Moonblast debuff. If I wasn't pissed by it earlier, then I am definitely even more now. I built up to a potential Sludge Wave, that's why I didn't throw yet. But man, this is just so terrible. Goodra is very bulky as a dragon. And it actually does not help in this matchup because the Florges can throw a Moonblast and farm down entirely to 100 energy. So that's not great. I'm going to swap in immediately. Want to get rid of this Florges ASAP. And then hopefully I'm not in a great spot against Skeletich either, right? Because it resists my Power Snow. And then also he actually tries to catch there again, which makes me scared. Maybe I have 2 answers to the Hisuian Avalok. Gonna go for Rock Slide. Rock Slide coverage is very nice in this matchup. I'll shield up one of these and then throw another Rock Slide. A lot of people love to call Ice Wind baits, so I'm not gonna play that game. I'm gonna go for the Rock Slide. Hopefully it's something like maybe a Snorlax, Magnezone perhaps. But they still have Florges, I must not forget that. Which has a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of energy. Let's see. I would still live a Disarming Voice here, so I don't want to shield that. But I do want to shield potential Moonblast. There's no reason to bait here, really. Simply because they actually do bait, which is crazy. I'm going to go for an Icy Wind here. Hisuian Avalok wins Charge Attack priority against Florges by like 2 attack, I found as well. Which is crazy, because you'd think Hisuian Avalok is very defensive based. They're gonna go for a Moonblast now. I believe they're about 4 or 5 off at Disarming Voice. I didn't count exactly properly. Hopefully I can counter it down. Okay, if it was dry, it shouldn't have an attack now. And I'm actually surprisingly bulky versus Magnezone here in Master League. So this Wild Charge will only do like 50%. Yeah, they still have a shield, so I just went for an Ice Slash there. I would get like Shadow Ball would knock out as well. If they have a attack on the floor, they're gonna keep the shield for that anyway. So let's see. 1 count to knock them out, or if they have the move, they win. They have the attack, unfortunately. So they win that battle. Not sure what I could have done different there. Obviously, that Gouda save switch is just so difficult because like floor just annihilates it. Game number 3, Avalok into Togekiss, a tremendous lead, and usually people are like ABA to Avalok with Togekiss lead, so this person is also staying in. I want to go for Rock Slide here, which will almost knock them out, but I'm going to go for Ice Wind to play it safe, because there's people who tend to shield Togekiss, just like this person, because if I go straight Rock Slide, it actually becomes more difficult. They have an Extra on the back. This looks a little bit unlosable. I mean, again, this is kind of how Master Premier is sometimes. You just RPS all the way. There's not a lot of things that Gudra RPSs though, so it might still get a little bit exciting. I'm going to shield this up, counter all the way down, and then I have energy for that Togekiss. Not ideal. Maybe I should have swapped a little bit earlier so I didn't have to shield anything. Gonna throw an Ice Slash before the next draw run, because they're almost there. And I have a Shadow Ball for the Togekiss, so that should do a lot of damage. They already took some Power Snow damage as well. I'm not sure the Shadow Ball is... Nah, it's not testing at this point, but I should get there. Unless they throw. I thought they were one of an AC power, so... guess I miscount again. No, it's Aerial Ace, which is 1 charm less, so they have no energy now. That makes you think, wait, maybe it's like a Metagross in the back? That would be scary. Let's see what they do. I'm gonna go for another Ice Wind, just in case they shield again. It won't knock out. Rock Slide would at this point. In the back is an Ursula. Now this is very much over. So this is one of the Pokemon that the Gudra is okay against. Obviously, Ursula has, like, out of all the Pokemon eligible in Master Premier, the highest stats. But with the debuff, even if it has Ice Punch, it doesn't really have a chance. So that's a good game. Game number 4, we have Avalok into Shadow Typhlosion. It's the 3rd Fire type lead in with Avalok, which is actually fine. I'm gonna swap into Gudra again. Hopefully no Florges this time. It's a Dragonite. And again, I'm going to fake the Draco Meteor here. A Dragon Claw shouldn't do more than like 50%, so I'm going to go just right at about 68 energy or so. They shield that this time. Going to go for another Thunder Punch. If I shield now, I can't flip this. But I'm not going to. I want to get the farm down here, keep the shields, otherwise Typhlosion is going to hurt me. Yeah, I think one more Dragonite would knock them out. I think they're not... There's no... I was ahead in energy, so there's no way they're at Dragon Claw plus Superpower. So, I'm actually going to no-shield this. It's not an easy no-shoot, but I did count correctly. Dragon Claw does like nothing. In comes Shadow Typhlosion. We know how fragile the regular one was, where Rock Slide did like 75%. This will definitely knock out Typhlosion, the Shadow one. I think that's close to a Shadow Undo as well. Pretty cool. Anyway, Thunder Punch. I'm not sure if that makes sense. I mean, he has that 2 Blastburn anyway. He's not gonna get to another attack here. And in the back is a Gudra. Yeah, there's always dragons when you see fire leads. So I'm just going to go for another Icy Wind here. I can even go for another one because I'm ahead in my next one is 5 only. But instead I'll catch on the Annihilate, which actually not that great of a play. Because if that Typhlosion gets a farm down here at some point, this actually becomes tricky. And I am actually going to go for a full farm down on my Annihilate, which is not necessary, but it's the play we're making today. Aqua Tail coming through. It's all debuff, so it doesn't do that much damage. If that Draco, well, so it. I mean, then I'd farm them down, and I will get to Rock Slide on my Avalok, because I already have one loaded right now. As long as the Typhlosion does have energy. But look, I'm in one incinerated range now. I'm going to do one counter, not two, because when the damage lands from the incinerator, it will knock me out, and I might not be able to throw my charge stack. So I'll do one counter, Shadow Ball, knocks out Typhlosion, I win. And then the final game, we have Hisuian Avalok into Togekiss. See how they swap in Snorlax. This usually tells me they're trying to bait out my Annihilate, so I don't want to swap in my Annihilate here. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind and dip into Goodra. Now, a lot of Snorlax do run Outrage, but because of the debuff here, the Outrage should not even get close to knocking out. In fact, they have Skull Bash, and that means that my Dragonites will do a little bit less, plus the Aqua Tail will do almost nothing. I'm now forced to throw 2 attacks, whereas I could have had a Thunder Punch for that Togekiss. So that's kind of unfortunate. I'm gonna go for the Aqua Tail here. Knock it out, get that thing out of my way. I think they did have the best buddy, but because of the attack drop, they didn't have that bulk point. Can't get my Aqua Tail off, unfortunately, here. And this is gonna be rough. I said on stream, the only way this is gonna get rough if it's their own Annihilate, and it is their own Annihilate. So now I have to call a bait, or they have to call a bait. I'm one behind, so it's very likely I will bait here. And my opponent is smart, they know this, so they're not going to shield this. And now it's even better for them, because they can go straight Shadow Ball, and I kind of know this, so I'm hoping that they don't, but they do. It's not over exactly yet. If I can get some Night Slash off here, Hisuian Avalok doesn't die to like 5 counters. It's very bulky, so I can still like get shields here maybe, and then hopefully land like an Icy Wind, farm it down, get to Rock Slide on Togekiss, which only has like 2 charms. So I might actually be still okay here. Let's see here. I'm gonna go for, again, I lose the coin flip here, which is annoying. I didn't even build up to the Shadow Ball. I'm hoping to get to an Night Slash, but they boost here. You don't see it, but I play with sounds on, so I heard it. And it's definitely game over. They don't even shield this. They can't very well. I mean, it didn't matter because they were boosted, so it was over. So yeah, those were the 2 teams that I tried. You can find this graph, as you can see here, as well on my X profile, and Rise to Occasion also made a video on it. I always feel like Master Premier is one of those leagues that's very hyped up, and then it just seems like an RPS show. So yeah, that's my experience. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next one. Bye.